Welcome to this episode of The Art of Feeling Better. Today is brought to you by My Little Pony vibes in my attempt to make you feel better. And I hope that I can somehow make you feel a little bit better because the world's a shit show right now, isn't it? Everyone feels like crap. Everything's a bit chaotic and crazy. Everything's on fire. Nobody knows what's coming next. But there are some of us, you know who you are, and there's more than you would think, who are stepping into this new energy with absolute clarity and absolute excitement because we know it's the breaking down of the old structures and we know shit is moving through and that feels uncomfortable, but there's always something good after it. And in terms of things like tarot, which I love, death, the death card that everyone's afraid of, actually means new opportunities, new chances, death and rebirth, right? The end of a cycle, the beginning of a new cycle. And let's face it, I'm sure we can all agree that's what we need now. Now we need some new stuff coming in. We need new approaches. We need some new leadership. And we need some new hope and joy and peace, which, controversial opinion, but should all be free on this planet. We shouldn't have to pay for these things. And I've done a little carousel this morning, which really made me think. And it was inspired by something that I'd seen on TikTok. I will reference it in because I saved the name of the person who posted it. I thought it was brilliant, so I've done a little version for Mojo School, which is basically all of the things that I've been saying for at least the last 10 years, but just captured so concisely in a little carousel, and I've not thought to do that before, so that's what I've done. And it made me think really deeply about where we are and about how batshit crazy it is that we are so conditioned and so numbed up that we just buy into this bullshit. We just do it. We just go along with it. We just go on with the absolute craziness because it's what you do. It's what you do, right? You don't rock the boat. That's what everyone does. That's what my parents did. That's what their parents did. Probably what their parents did, and a few generations before that. So who am I to change things, right? This is what we're told to do. And we're told to do this by people who know better than us, right? They're smarter than us. They have a better education than us. They probably have more money than us. So clearly they are the superior members of our species that should be making the decisions on our behalf about our health, our lives, our future, and our children. What the actual fuck? What are we doing? And I've been shouting this for many, many years while still doing it, right? What's that all about? Thinking that I'm making a difference and trying to help, and I think I have in certain respects, but still in that rat race, still in that cycle, still spinning the wheels and like the swan with the feet under the water and trying to operate in a system that's clearly broken and doesn't work and that I've never felt aligned with, always felt mismatched with from a very early age, but recognised that it's safety to do as you're told and not rock the boat. And even as I got older and then, trained in psychotherapy and neuroscience and human behaviour and all of the 30 odd years that I have been an energy practitioner, which energy is my first language. So I always had that in my system and that my heritage and in my DNA and in my bones, this knowing, this knowledge that it was wrong. It was all wrong. But then spent years and years and years trying to justify that and trying to slowly and gently understand myself, what was going on, what the discord was. Is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Why am I not feeling that this is right? And I look at everybody else, they're all having a great time. And it's all the beautiful people doing beautiful things and everybody doing as they're told. It must be me, right? I must be problematic. Then, gradually as my 20s and 30s went, starting to realise, no, it's not me actually. It's not me. And there's lots of people that are having similar experiences, but are also too afraid to rock the boat. So we all operate in this fawn response and people please and do as we're told, or flock response, because it's safer to stay in this group mentality and not rock the boat, not put your head above the parapet, do what everyone else does. And it suddenly became very apparent, probably about 10 years ago, actually, when I stepped out of my old industry and I had my last evolution of Jane, right? It was like, fuck you, I'm getting out of fashion. It's all narcissistic, horrible, consumerist, nonsense that's just preying on people's vulnerabilities and we need to stop doing it. And then I spent 10 years on that kind of mission to wake people up, to get people to share their stories, to celebrate diversity and inclusion in different kinds of people, different kinds of fashion. And just don't be a dick was our slogan. Just be compassionate, be kind, stop judging yourself and stop judging other people. And that went on for a long time. And then now we're out of that 10-year cycle and this next evolution of Jane is about to emerge. My wings are like, whoo! And people aren't going to like it. But hey ho, what are you going to do? Now realizing that even that was still part of that being in that cycle because we were still like dependent on funding and trying to, oh my God, I spent so many years, and it's been, don't get me wrong, it's been brilliant learning and I'm really grateful for the experiences. And people are going to think I'm completely insane and I'm having some kind of nervous breakdown because I've stopped playing the game as much as we can when we still do have bills to pay. Don't get me wrong, working on that. But trying to operate within the broken system. You know, that old saying that you can't heal where you got sick? You know, I was like oblivious to that and just, it's okay, I'm super tough, I'll do it anyway. Working within education, within schools, within speaking to medical professionals, social care, homelessness, addiction recovery. And all this time you can see and feel. Feel is probably a better descriptor with my empathy and my energy gifts. Could feel and see quite clearly what was happening and understood the mechanics of it, learnt about the science behind it. You know, why are people behaving like this? What is going on between their brain and their body? Oh, I think I just hit my mic. What's causing all these fractures within society and all this polarity and and that understanding was coming through as I was doing my learning. But it wasn't like penny drop, oh my goodness. It was like, yeah, that just confirms what I know. Yeah, we know this. This is not how we're meant to live. It's not how we're meant to exist. And unfortunately, I mean, I suppose it's fortunate for a large percentage of the population and unfortunate for an equally large percentage of the population, is that many people started to understand what was occurring quite a while ago and have managed to come to terms with the fact that the structures and the leadership that we have always believed is acting in our best interests and are super smart and way better at everything than we are, so we just do as we're told, are actually the very opposite. And not to go down too many rabbit holes, because there's lots of people that are doing rabbit hole stuff at the moment, and that's cool, and just have a look to your heart's content. And I'm here for the conversations if you want them. But I can tell you that there's a lot coming this year. There's a lot coming that you might not be ready for, you might need to brace yourself for. You've started to see it coming out in the media with lots of stuff that's going on in Hollywood, lots of stuff around the Epstein files, lots of stuff around controversy and corruption and abuse and paedophilia and harm and torture and gross manipulation of power and wealth, abuse of power and wealth, and children being the victims. And there's lots more. There's lots more. And kudos to the sophisticated psychology behind this from the people in power. It's pretty clever business. Like, you can't deny that business is just super smart because the cognitive dissonance is so rife and so strong that there's so many people that cannot possibly fathom how some of these things can be in their reality. It just challenges every single fibre of their being, of what they know. Their whole structure of life is called into question. Their whole belief systems are called into question. And it just activates the amygdala. Shutters come down on the prefrontal cortex. Logic and reasoning, you can't even think any further. Straight into fight mode, straight into, I'm going to challenge you, I'm going to call you a stupid, weirdo, conspiracy theorist, you're an idiot, you're unsafe, you are spreading misinformation. And then the battle continues, right? Because it's just too traumatic to even consider some of these things. And on the other side, it's really difficult again, because then there's people who are fully aware of what's going on, who have done hours and days and months and weeks and years of solid research, right? And let's bear in mind, I saw a phrase the other day, which again is going to be controversial, but you've got to get it somehow, right? People that are kind of having this battle online. So their medical degree is not as important as your Google search, and that's the argument, right? And quite right. There's so many people that are just going absolutely nuts and just loads of misinformation everywhere. Part of the plan, guys. You know what I mean? It's part just get everyone fighting amongst themselves, spread loads of misinformation, and then nobody will get to the real truth. But there are so many people that have uncovered lots and lots and lots of truth, right? And they're getting lost in the fray somewhere because there's so many people that are uncovering all sorts of crazies. But I can tell you that a lot of the crazies are not that crazy. When you dig down and you follow the money and you follow the corporations and you follow all the structures, it just becomes hard to, it's not very palatable, and it becomes really difficult to dig in and keep researching yourself because everything in your body goes, no, look that way because that's terrifying. I don't like it. I understand that. Cool. I do understand that. But we're at a point where children are suffering. Children are being abused. Our future generations are massively at risk. And I'm going to do a separate little episode on Manosphere, which everyone keeps asking me about. Have I seen it? No. Am I going to see it? No. I've just got more important things to do with my energy, but I get it. I get the general concept. Once again, it's something that I've been talking about and warning about for at least 10 years. This is where we're heading. This is what's going to happen. Again, don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. Right? This it was inevitable that this kind of thing was going to happen, but we can go back. We can repair some of this damage if we act. Yeah. You can't just sit there and watch and be passive because it's going to get worse and worse. And we don't act by fighting, and we don't act by positioning ourselves as the enemy or even marching. And even, don't get me wrong, I used to be partial to chaining myself to some railings and marching around with placards, and I get it. And I really respect everybody who has the courage and takes that form of action. That's not the only form of action. So for me, if you haven't read the book Power versus Force yet by Dr. David Hawkins, go and have a read. Force only gets you so far. And if you think about the beast that you are fighting, using force, unless every single person becomes brave enough to stand up and fight together, it's tricky. But each person has power. Each person has power and can act autonomously and can take agency over their own life and their own behaviours and what they're teaching their children and what they're doing in their communities, in their families. And that's where I've stepped to, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, is reclaiming your power. And particularly for women at the moment, because where we're at is in this interesting space where I'm being guided, which is so interesting. My particular guidance is to step away from this 10-year cycle I've been in, quite masculine energy, and I've worked with loads of men and lots of women with very masculine energy, top of their food chain, professionals. I know best. I've got a piece of paper to wave at you. I must know better. And in a kind of trying to justify and prove things to the scientific community, to the medical professions, to the education professionals, all the professions who apparently and controversially, again, I'm going to say this, don't know shit because it's not working. It's getting worse, right? Just stop it. Just pack it in. Just stop. You've had your go. You've had a fair crack at the whip. It's not worked out. Just step aside and let something different take its place. Let some other leadership come forward. And in my humble opinion, it's this divine feminine energy that needs to rise right now. And we need more female leaders. This is not about men and women. We need more men that have this emotional literacy, and they have healed their wounded masculine, and they have integrated their divine feminine, and everything's in balance. Cool. Brilliant. That's what we need more of. But this isn't a male-female debate. It's about energy. But we need this energy of compassion, of empathy, of true collaboration, of being able to work together, of everybody recognizing that we have to boost each other up in order to be successful and in order to thrive. We need to get rid of the old masculine energy of competition, conflict, survival of the fittest. It ain't working, guys. Soz, but it's not. not working. And even loads of men that I speak to at the moment are coming to the conclusion that actually, yeah, it's not working, is it? It's not working. And we've got on one side, we've got the manosphere guys, and then we've got the feminazis, and we've got everybody kind of polarized. It's all about men. No, it's all about women. It's not. You're missing the point completely. It's about balance. And that is what our ancestors knew. And that's what we know deep in our bones if we stop getting distracted by the noise is balance. We all have to achieve balance within ourselves. We have to achieve balance within our families, within our communities, and it starts with energy. Ask Nikola Tesla. Look at it. Just look at it and try to understand. I think it was it Socrates? Socrates, cool guy, talking about the true wisdom comes from knowing that we know nothing. Right? Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. We don't stop flopping your feathers and trying to piss higher up the wall saying, I know more than you, I'm better than you, I've completed this on expert level. We don't know shit. We just don't know shit. We don't know anything about the universe. We know like 1%, and everything else is dark matter because we don't understand it yet. And, our DNA, we don't know, we've only got a little bit activated because the other's just, it's useless, it doesn't do anything. No, it fucking isn't. It just isn't online yet. We have massive capability as humans. We're just not there yet, right? And we're not doing the work to get there. We're going backwards, if anything. Conscious mind, 5%. We're aware of 5%. So 95% background noise telling you you're not good enough, you're shit, everyone else is better than you should just be quiet and sit with your labels and do as you're told. Pretty easy vulnerabilities there to manipulate, hey, through media and through propaganda. We need to do some serious waking up, right? We really, really do. We just don't know anything. We don't. But we think we do. And I got trolled by somebody the other day, which was dead funny because I used to really react badly. And I got a little bit twitchy, but not as bad as I used to do. And I didn't reply. Oh no, I might have done. Damn it! I used to do a bit of more inner work. I think I replied just with a kiss. Couldn't help myself, but I will work harder on that. And the thread. I don't even really comment anymore, so I must have been a bit pissy that day. But the thread was about there was a really cool on Witch Talk. Really cool young girl who had this beautiful vibe going on, and she had all her stuff set up, and she just looked really cool, and she was doing her thing, right? And she had a candle lit, and she was manipulating the energy, and she was doing this, and the candle was moving, and she was kind of broaching the same conversation as magic real in the way we know it, right? What is reality, and people need to open their minds slightly more and look at the elements and look at things that we can't see doesn't mean they don't exist, all of those things. And some guy said, what you're doing is just science. You gotta come in and protect the young'uns. That was my first thought. I'm just gonna have a comment. And it was a really nice one. I wasn't an arsehole. I said, yeah, you're right. Because it was. It is. I love science, and I also love metaphysics. I love magic. I love the things that science can't explain yet. And I had the same kind of conversation about, we just don't know anything. We just don't. We stop thinking we know it all and we're so smart because we're fucking up the planet. So we're not that smart, are we? And I didn't say that, by the way, but that's what I felt. But I was really articulated it nicely. And I had talked about something that I'd seen as well, which really hit home. And I thought that's a great way to put it. And it was a picture of nurses in like 1950s smoking outside the hospital. And it was a couple of other things that were like in the past were like perfectly fine, not a problem, and even promoted as being good for you. And then a few years later, like, did we say that? No, we've moved a bit further on from that. We've got better technology. We have a greater understanding of neurobiology and biological functions, and now it's probably not. We'll change that now. Not. And their theory was, isn't it funny how science changes every 100 years, probably less than that. And yet we're always told to trust the science. I thought, yeah, what a great way to put it, because you can't deny that. You can see how far we've come. And yet we're still told, trust science, science is right, it's 100% correct. We know everything now, aren't we clever? And I thought, God, it'd be great actually if it wasn't if it was Hippocrates, it'd be great. The Hippocratic Oath, Hippocrates, if it was, and do no harm. First, do no harm was the same guy that said, yeah, we don't know anything. Try not to hurt people, but we just don't know shit. But I think it was a different guy. So please feel free, troll me, somebody and tell me how bad I am at Greek philosophers. I'll lose loads of sleep over that. But you get the picture. Get the picture. And you'll notice my podcasts now are moving so much further away from what they were at the beginning, and they're all very relevant. And I would encourage you to go back and have a look at some of the earlier ones. Very much rooted in education, very much rooted in medicine, in social injustice. I've always brought some of the woo-woo in. We've talked about frequency medicine, sound medicine. We've touched a little bit on the witch wound last year. So I kind of weaved it through the narrative, but you'll see how things are changing this year. Now we've stepped out of this old, weird energetic cycle that's been going on for so long and into this new kind of space. Particularly now, fire horse energy this year. I'm a fire sign. I am like galloping along ahead with all this fire energy. My language is changing. The way I conduct myself is changing. My branding is changing. Some of the things I'm sharing is starting to change, and I encourage you guys to do the same. That's my medicine at the moment is stepping into your truth, because it's very liberating and it's very scary and frightening. You're starting to actually value your worth as an autonomous human being who has something to give and doesn't need approval from others to believe that and trust that. That's a huge piece of work. And also just having the courage, and again, particularly as women, I'm attracting a lot of women at the moment, and I am working with women and I'm feeling called to do that work. But I want to be clear that this isn't excluding men in any way. This is for all of us. And I know a lot of you guys out there, and there's some amazing, amazing divine masculines out there that I follow, doing similar work, who are incredible, and get it and understand their role to play. And I have incredible men around me. I have my husband, I have my sons, I have my son-in-laws. They are perfect examples of traditional blokes who have emotional intelligence and empathy and respect for women, and kind of understand that we are frighteningly powerful creatures, right? But we can't be held down, we can't be repressed, and we have to find that balance where the men can step into that role of protector, of protecting the space so the women can work. Because men are powerful and women are powerful, and we operate very differently. And that power together in balance is just a beautiful, magical thing, but it's been skewed and manipulated and messed up so much. And there's so much conflict around that, and everybody has an opinion, everybody has a feeling in their body about that. And if we can just try and bypass that slightly and just drop down, understand what's going on for us personally, anchor ourselves into the present moment, like, this is happening now, this is what I feel in my body, this is what I'm experiencing, but really try and connect into that higher truth and your higher consciousness and the bigger picture, right? Your big soul up there is like championing, like, come on, just break through, just understand that there's something way, way, way bigger than this little nitty-gritty conflict, competition, battle that we seem to be locked in. And as soon as more people can break through that and start to do that inner work and peel back the layers and settle into their body, into their little meat suit existence, but activate that actual power and that actual energy around balancing their parts of self, that's where the magic happens. And that we have to do this. We have to do this piece of work. It's so vitally important. And I'm amazed at myself at some of the content that I'm creating at the moment, some of the programs that I put together. Like, I'm a PR nightmare, because for so long it's been censor yourself. Censor yourself. And from being a child, we're writing about this in a book at the moment, for being a child, understanding that some of the things that I was experiencing weren't for public conversation, because I'd be locked up, man, right? And that kind of is filtered through for a lot of people through their whole lives. Like, oh, man, best not mention that. Best not kind of talk about that. You learn to read what society expects of you, and you step into those labels quite quickly so that you can survive and keep your attachments in order, and understand the dynamics of your family and your community. But your soul knows, and sometimes that's where the discord comes from. So that kind of carries on through life in your careers and things like that. So in terms of my business and my branding, God, I've been exhausted. I'm not going to lie to you, exhausted trying to balance two conflicting parts of myself, right? This voice that's trying to get out. And I've had so many problems with my throat and my neck over the last few years, because I've been restricting it so much when it's ready to come out. And, just trying to focus on other areas so that I can gently nudge people towards the actual topic that we should be talking about. Yeah, let's do all this work first. It was the right way, and it's there, and it's all prepared, and it was, and it has worked. It has worked, but I've just run out of time, and I've run out of capacity to keep doing that and to keep masking. So this is the side that's coming forward now to have a go and have a say. Is trying to start people off really gently with the psychology side. There's too much going on and people are just kind of like, I don't know what's happening. And they need to get straight into energy and understand what's going on, really. Um, so, yeah, the gentle approach is there. It's still there. And that's what I've been focusing all my PR on. And let's change the school system. Let's change the education system. Let's change how social care works. Let's change how social prescribing works. Let's change how health works so that we are a healthcare service, not a sick care service. Let's stop pumping chemicals in people that don't need them. Let's look at nutrition, diet, connections with people, getting out, getting natural sunlight. Let's focus on creative activities to be able to purge and support the nervous system to emotionally process stuff, all the stuff we know. Let's do all this. Let's put these things into these systems that are broken. And it took me a very long time. And I feel like, duh, it's part of my journey, right? But I feel like, oh my God, I could have shortcut that. To understand that these spaces at their very top level do not want to change. Have no intention of changing. Why would they? It's brilliant. We churn out just compliant little creatures that will never question anything, they'll never rock the boat. They are so busy being distracted, trying to fit into their labels and stay safe. And if they don't and they start to question things, we'll give them the media and we'll give them entertainment and we'll just fill them full of junk and we'll make them unhealthy. So they have to focus on trying to be healthy. They can work ridiculous hours that aren't really made for humans. We'll wake them up with a massive alarm clock in the morning to go into an unnatural environment all day to make money for someone else, where the organizations and the businesses destroy the planet so that we can live on the planet. And then we'll pay to go to the gym because we've sat all day and not moved. And then we'll make sure our kids are separated from us from the word go if we can, so the indoctrination can start super early, right? And why on earth would such a perfect business want to change just because I go in there and say, hey guys, there's a new way to do it? And it took such a toll on my health and my energy and the people around me that were that got it and wanted to kind of help and support the journey. So that was a real big wake up call that it was never going to work, never going to do it from the inside. And kudos to people who are still trying, who are still in there, because so many people, even in the last week, who are educators, healthcare professionals, are just jumping ship for their own sanity and their own health and their own safety. It's becoming very apparent what's really going on. And I think the more people that can get to grips with that, and I guess, as I said, so many people that I know, and I can imagine you watching this going, she's flipped. She's gone over to the dark side. She's one of them tinfoil hat, unsafe weirdos that are just spreading propaganda and misinformation. And I get it. I do get it. But you're just going to have to unfollow me. And yeah. And, in real life, I won't be pushing my opinions on anybody. On social media, I will. So just don't look if you don't like it. And I think that's going to be the same for a lot of people at the moment. And that's going to provide challenges within families and friendships and communities. But staying still and compliant and quiet is no longer an option. So if this kind of stuff resonates with you, and it's so heartwarming and gives you that extra boost when you see millions of people, and I'm connecting in with so many people who are either already streaks ahead and already doing massive pieces of work on this and have all kinds of research studies done and data and all kinds of different things to help back these things up scientifically. Some brilliant scientists out there, amazing whistleblowers that I can't believe how courageous you are. There's lawyers, there's and I know a few personally myself. There's ex-medics, there are physicians, there are emergency room workers, there are nurses, there are teachers, there are government officials, there are lawyers, there are undertakers. There are so many people in these professions that have seen firsthand some of the stuff that's going on that they would desperately wish wasn't the case, but understand that it's their moral duty, even if it means losing their job, their livelihood, and and their family and friends to actually make people aware. So absolutely salute you. And hopefully I can play my part in doing that by sharing my little pieces of wisdom and my, not so much whistleblowing, because I'm kind of whistleblowing on other people's behalf of things that I'm speaking to people about and reading and hearing. But it's providing the solutions, right? My bit is to kind of help people to step into their own power so that they can get out of that fawn response, flock response, find out what works for them and start to really recalibrate and move into this new space, because we're going there whether you like it or not. Things are shifting. Everything's on fire. Things are going to have to break down so that new systems can be built. And there are many new systems. It's called parallel structures being built all over the place, ready so that when more and more people that are starting to kind of the penny drop, there's places for them to go. There's educational spaces that actually work for everyone and actually protect young minds and let people learn and grow and thrive in their own way. There are beautiful nature spaces that are medicine. There are amazing healthcare spaces and functional medicine, and some brilliant doctors and nurses and medics who are looking at lifestyle medicine and lots of different things, nutrition and supplements and all kinds of things, amazing things are happening, and more people are shifting over. So if this message just gets through and helps people to think a bit differently, or really challenges you that you get really pissed off with me, you don't like it, either way, it's going to do something, right? It's going to create some kind of shift. And for me, it is definitely about authenticity. However you look at it, it's about authenticity. And we can talk about politics, we can talk about religion, we can talk about all kinds of different things. When it comes down to it, if we can transcend that safety-seeking behaviour of I'm right and you're wrong, and judgment and that trolling behaviour of no, I think you'll find this, and no. I had someone the other day that like tried to fight back by correcting my grammar. And I'm usually pretty good at grammar, but alas, the grammar police got me. I'm like, oh God, I can't even bother explaining the fight response because then I'm just fighting back as well. So I kind of let that one be. But if we can just try and find a way to everybody think about what you are being presented with. That's the only thing I can say. Just think deeper, a little bit deeper, and look a little bit harder at what you're being presented with. And more importantly, the motives behind. And that's one thing that I really want to get across, because there's so many people being bashed at the moment. Lots and lots of stuff, especially around healthcare, around vaccines, around anti-vaxxers versus pro-vaxxers, and medics over there going, oh, they're dangerous, you must do this. And then medics over there going, no, they're dangerous, this is... And you think, well, hang on, which of the science is right here? It's really tricky and it's really difficult when you're trying to make informed choices, right? So informed consent is a thing. And if you can't provide information that makes that person feel like they have informed consent, then that's illegal, right? That's not legal. Yeah, people have to have informed consent. So that's, something that we need to think about when it comes to education. I've said this a million times on stages before. If we are an educator and there's a young person who is showing signs of distress at going home at the end of the day, we press the big red safeguarding button. It's not safe. Child protection needs to come in. That child, there's something going on at home, which means they are not safe. But when we're parents and our children show the same reaction at going to school because it's harmful to them in some way, we're fine if we don't force them kicking and screaming through the gates and leave them there all day. There are laws being breached here, many, many laws. There are lots of human rights things that are just not quite right. And whichever side of the fence you sit on, something isn't right. So you have to look a little bit deeper and try and suspend your judgment and your body's response to things that challenge your belief system, because it's important. It's important to do that. And I've said it before, I would love for someone to prove me wrong. And I know a lot of people have said the same thing, that, if you can sit there with a stack of evidence, where have you got it from? And the thing that I was saying to you before about the whole, guess what, I've got a degree from Harvard. Oh, okay, who funds all of that? Let's just follow a bit further back and see where that's come from. Why old medicine was why were women burned, set on fire, tortured and hanged? Because they could heal people using natural, free materials and lifestyle suggestions. Who did that? Who then benefits from that happening? Just look, follow the trail, right? So I wanted to kind of touch on the people who don't have this kudos of I'm the professional. I have this piece of paper. And I'm not discrediting that because it is an amazing thing. Medicine's brilliant. I'm not bashing medicine for the right reasons in the right places. It is life-saving. It is incredible. It is an amazing evolutionary, technological, scientific advancement that saved countless lives in multiple ways. But there's something wrong. There's something wrong. The system is not right. It's not working right, and people are being harmed. Absolutely, and it makes a lot of money, right? So we have to look at this. We just have to look at it in more detail, right? And I think the people who do not have the kudos, the white jacket, the stethoscope, the medical degree, therefore cannot be trusted. Some of them are using the world's most sophisticated artificial intelligence research engine that can sift through and find the information they're looking for, provide a ton of evidence. And if they are emotionally intelligent, if they have an ounce of critical thinking skills, they can go through some of this stuff and weed out the stuff that actually, no, that's absolute rubbish. That can't be backed up. That can't be backed up. Where was that funded by? That's a little bit contentious. Where was that funded by? That's independent. Oh, that's peer reviewed. Okay, and you can do that, right? You can do that. And I know people who've got stacks and stacks and stacks of really credible, well researched, years and years and years of evidence because they've experienced something really, really harmful, or they have a family member that's experienced something really harmful, and they haven't had the answers they wanted to, whether it's medical, educational, social care. They have had to go searching for their own answers because they've suffered a significant harm in some way. So for me, I think the motives of some of these people, not all of them, obviously, but some of these people, the motives are trying to protect other people from suffering the same kind of harm, right? They are trying to protect their own families, they're trying to protect their own health, their own bodies, and they're trying to shout from the rooftops that something isn't right and needs investigating. Most of these people will put that information out there and say, please, somebody out there, the powers that be, prove this wrong because I don't want it to be right. Please provide me with some evidence that I'm completely wrong. And I don't see that happening, right? I've had a little bit of experience of that myself as well. And I would love for that to be the case. I would love all of these crazy, crazy things that are coming out at the moment was just a fever dream, and that there could be some solid evidence that says, no, absolutely not. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are the same. We don't want it to be actually happening, right? Nobody does. And I think when the kind of narcissism and the little bit of this sort of God complex for some of the professionals, whether it's in education, health, social care, wherever it might be, is, well, don't question me. Don't question me because I'm far more superior in this area than you. I've been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Don't question, again, cognitive dissonance, fight or flight response. How dare you question my reality and my intelligence and my capability? And even presented with this kind of information, what I would love to see is a nice calm response of, yeah, I understand. I've seen that myself. I have researched this myself because I'm a professional who wants to be ethically guided and want to make sure I am doing no harm. So I understand where this has come from and give some evidence to counter that and say, actually, this was done by this and this is not quite right. This was skewed. This is how this evidence was gathered. This has been misinterpreted. This has been manipulated. These are some counters to your bit of research to go away and calmly try and think about logically and try and, look at your view slightly differently because this has come from this place and this is completely non-biased. This isn't funded by the people who make from the results of the data, right? I've yet to find one. This is, something that will counteract your argument, and we can have those debates and people can sit in the knowledge that, okay, great, okay, that was pretty scary, but that's kind of put my mind at rest. Or actually, I cannot find any evidence to counteract your claim here. And that's terrifying because my entire life's been built on this and I need to go away and think about that. One of those things has to happen, right? We can't just keep butting heads on it because there's so many people having these conversations now. It's not just the crazy crackpot conspiracy theorists. When you think about where that came from, who coined that phrase? And what does conspiracy mean? I'm not going to tell you. You go and research. What does conspiracy mean? And how much theory do we have to put out there that then becomes fact for us to pack it in with this terminology? I don't know. I don't know the answers. And yeah, I think it's just time for everybody to have their own perspectives out there and really think and really look and challenge, challenge everything. Challenge everything you've been told, challenge everything you believe. And do your inner work so that you can feel more comfortable in doing that, and your body can allow you to do that, and your brain won't shut off because you are able to critically think and critically assess. Um, it's important. It's really important. It's important for our future generations, for our kids, for our grandkids. We have to make some changes now. And if you are called to heal the witch wound yourself, a big piece of work. You don't know what the witch wound is? Common sense, but go and Google it. The witch wound, this trapped voice, particularly for women. We're not allowed to speak out about our truth. We're not allowed to speak out about what we feel in our bones, is how we're meant to operate, how we're meant to raise our children, how we're meant to teach, learn, heal, how we're meant to exist. Because we've been told it's stupid. We've been ridiculed for it. We've been punished for it. We've been tortured for it. We've been killed for it in the past. So it's just safer not to say anything and go along and be compliant. Because everybody else is fine, right? Everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is happy. My journey through the fashion industry taught me that smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors is all part of the same problem. It's all part of the same manipulation by the same companies and the same people. Make people feel like they should have this, should want this. And if they don't, provide them with a solution. Keep them distracted, keep them feeling inadequate and less than, keep them compliant, churn them out from an early age, never to answer back, never to talk back, never to challenge authority. They're on for generations and generations. And to all you ADHDers out there, to all you neuro spicy brains and you amazing, beautiful children who are challenging, who are stuck in the isolation rooms, you are the future. You are the brains. You are the next evolution of human beings who completely understand that this is wrong. And everything in your body and your mind is fighting out against this broken system. And I'm so sorry that you are being punished and penalized and locked away and having such challenge at just existing as your amazing, beautiful selves and being told that they're wrong and being given these labels and being medicated and being ridiculed and told that there's something wrong with you, because there isn't, in my opinion. I believe that we have some amazing, gifted, beautiful young people who are just, completely misaligned and not in the right space and not in the right environment. And it's always the environment that needs looking at first. Flower dying, you don't blame the flower, do you? You look at the environment, you check the soil, check the sunlight, see if it needs some water. Find out what's wrong. So we need to start doing that with our fellow human beings and our young people. Absolutely. So my little ramblings for today there. Let's see my little pony, which has now gone stone cold, but I'm still going to drink it. If this hits and resonates, I'd love you to let me know how you are feeling in the question that I want to ask. Because this is the art of feeling better, and it's been quite a heavy topic today, right? So how can we make you feel better after that little rambling? Is thinking about, where are you feeling repressed? Where are you feeling misaligned? Where are you feeling stuck? Where are you feeling that something isn't quite right and that your wings have been clipped and you've only just realized it? And where are you feeling that fire in your belly that something isn't right and it's time for you to do something about it and speak about it? Because I can tell you, when you work that out, where you start to understand more about yourself without judging it on somebody else's metrics, your power will start to rise, and you'll find other people who are very similar, on a similar journey, have similar thought processes, and it becomes less lonely. And then you start to feel better. And every part of your body starts to light up when you are in the environments and around the people who you resonate closely with and who get it and who get you. And it's important not to judge the people who don't, right? And it may have sounded that I've been pretty judgy today, and I probably have. But I'm very passionate about this topic because there's a lot of bad people doing bad things at the moment. And there's a lot of people being harmed because they are believing that they are doing the right thing and they're actually being instructed and manipulated to do harm. And the sheer horrific nature of that means that a lot of people, when they do realize what's going on, they do wake up, are going to have a hard time dealing with the fact that they have been accidentally complicit in some of this. And I really feel for you. And I'm here for that. I'm here for you. Even if you're someone who's trolling me and telling me I'm an idiot and just doesn't like me at all, maybe at some point you will, and I'm here. I'm not going to judge it. So I'm judging the system and the way things are done rather than individual people or individual characters. So once you start to move into that different space and step into that sovereignty, authenticity, it does change and you will feel so much better mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And the spiritually stuff is what I'm going to be focusing on most this year. Something that I never thought I'd do because I had so much fear around being honest and open about my own journey and actually speaking about some of these topics. So it's happening this year, guys. That's what's happening. So yeah, see what you can find that helps you feel better. Little tools, little simple things you can do every single day that will help with that. Move into the different spaces on social media that resonate with who you are. Stop trying to fit into the old spaces that just don't get you. It just hurts. You don't need that and you don't deserve that. So you can go back over my old episodes, have a little look, see my evolution, see some of the amazing guests that I've had over the last year or so. Find some of the tools because we have some music medicine. Every single episode, I've asked my guests what song is their feel good playlist. So we built one together called The Art of Feeling Better on Spotify. Have a look at that. That'll make you feel better. Create your own if you have a particular genre that you like that boosts you and makes you feel good. And there's top tips. Every guest give me a tip of what we can do internally ourselves each day to feel better and also what we can do as a collective. And I'm going to be welcoming lots more guests on in the future to have the very same topics of conversation, but from a slightly different lens, because we're going to be moving way more into the bigger picture and challenging assumptions, challenging beliefs, and looking in detail and depth at the metaphysical stuff, not just the physical. So I'm going to leave you with that for now. And I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous day. Despite what's going on around you, you can choose the moments that make you happy. So make good choices. Sending you lots of love.